So it turns out we could have built a wall with the cost of the government shutdown. Hello everyone, this is Mr. Obvious bringing you the obvious. And today on CNBC, if the shutdown lasts about 2 more weeks, the cost of the economy will exceed the price of Trump's wall. What does this mean? Basically, the cost of the government being shut down in about 2 weeks will be enough money, about $6 billion, to build the damn wall in the first place. It will only take another 2 weeks for the shutdown to cost the economy more than $6 billion, according to S&P Global Ratings. The partial government shutdown enters its 21st day, Friday, tying the record for longest lapse in federal funding. Now, this article was written by Yun Lee. Oh, so wow, okay, so the actual cost of the shutdown in 2 weeks will exceed $6 billion. Trump asked for $5.7 billion. So the shutdown is actually going to cost more than what he needed to build the wall. No, I think this really goes to show how the Democrats, they don't actually care about money. It's not about money to them. It's about ideology. It's about war against the American people. They don't like Trump. They hate Trump. They hate everything he stands for. So they don't want to make a deal. Even if he's willing to compromise to say, hey, if you give me this funding, we can enable DACA. We can have amnesty for illegal immigrants. We can have all this stuff. We'll trade. Let's make a deal. He's a negotiator. That's what he's done. That's what he's best at. But these people don't want to make a deal. So now the government shutdown, which the Democrats caused, make no doubt, is going to exceed the cost of the wall. I really want to put that in perspective because they could have given him the budget and we'd have saved money. The government would not be shut down, but Democrats don't care. This is about ideology. We estimated that the shutdown could shave approximately $1.2 billion off real GDP in the quarter for each week that part of the government is closed. They may seem like pennies for the world's biggest economy, but it means a lot to those workers trying to cover their household costs without their paychecks. S&P's chief U.S. economist said in a note on Friday. So a bunch of people are protesting, mostly federal workers. They want to stop the shutdown, but what they should really be doing is protesting the Democrats, because it is all because they do not want to make a deal that the shutdown happened in the first place. And Trump even warned them. He said, look, make a deal or I'm walking away. I'm not going to deal with this. We'll shut it down because you don't want to make a deal. You don't want to grow up and make a trade. The firm came up with these figures by looking at the cost related to the shutdown, including lost productivity by furloughed workers and a decrease in sales for contractors to the government. The partial government shutdown entered its 21st day, Friday, tying the record for longest lapse in federal funding. Lawmakers have failed to fund about a quarter of the government as President Donald Trump demands money for his proposed border wall. Trump has threatened to veto legislation passed by the Democratic-controlled House to reopen the government temporarily, and that has deterred the GOP-controlled Senate from passing it. Consumer spending. As the government shutdown nears a record-breaking run, retailers like Best Buy and Bed Bath & Beyond could start to feel the bite of lower consumer spending. With 800,000 federal workers not being paid and a potential delay in tax refunds, the economic effect of the partial government shutdown could be at least $2 billion per week, according to Wells Fargo retail analysts. The retailers that would be hurt the most include those that sell more discretionary goods, such as Best Buy and Bed Bath & Beyond, and those operating in regions with high government employment, including Ulta Beauty and Dick's Sporting Goods, the bank predicted. Retailers that sell household necessities may have more of a cushion now, but if the shutdown were to eventually impact benefit programs like SNAP, players like dollar stores, Walmart, and Kroger could feel pressure. Wells Fargo's Zachary Fedem said in a note to clients Friday, on the other hand, history illustrates that prior shutdowns had limited impact on retailers and staples-like characteristics, including grocers and auto part retailers. So of course, it's not just government workers being affected. Government workers are of course employed by the government. They receive their paychecks, they spend that money. However, if they're not making any money, they can't spend. Now don't get me wrong, I really think these people should have savings, especially if you're working a cushy job like a government worker, you should have savings. So I don't know what this is about. Oh no, we're not going to make it all of a sudden because we don't have our paychecks. If you're working for the government, I think you're really paid well enough and have enough benefits to not be living paycheck to paycheck. So yeah, savings are important. Always save as much as you can. So this is mostly talking about the costs, potential costs of GDP from the shutdown, and we can't really say for sure whether this will be the result, but for now, of course, it's going to have an effect on the economy. See, even if the shutdown gets resolved before the end of this quarter, some of the lost spending might be recovered, but once the workers get back pay, which like a normal worker in the private sector would never get. So again, cushy to work for the government. Very cushy job. I think they're exaggerating a bit, but GDP inputs like productivity are permanently gone. And honestly, it may not necessarily be the worst thing. The economy is pretty resilient, it's actually in a decent place. So this article leaves off here with, while government workers will likely recoup their lost wages once the government opens, as they have in the past, which again, I don't agree with because they didn't actually do any work. So why are they getting money? And it's taxpayer money. Their paychecks come from our taxes. The many government contract workers who are out of work because of the shutdown are unlikely to get back pay, said CNP Global. Interesting. So it looks like they're not actually gonna all get back pay. So workers who are living paycheck to paycheck will struggle to make ends meet the longer this goes on. And as the standoff drags on, no paychecks are arriving to refill their savings, pay down credit card debt, make that mortgage payment, or pay their rent. Well, maybe they shouldn't have gotten into so much debt to begin with. Really, like credit card debt, that's not our problem. And again, financial responsibility, managing your money, trying to save. You shouldn't be living paycheck to paycheck, especially if you have a good job. Anyways, if they want someone to blame, they need to blame the Democrats. They don't want to make a deal. They're being irrational. They're being children. They're shoving their heads in the sand and saying, no, I don't like Trump. Trump is bad. So let's screw over everyone else. You know, let's do the shutdown. We don't care because it'll make you look bad. At least that's what they think. They think the shutdown makes Trump look bad. In reality, Trump looks no worse or no better than he always has because the media always attacks him. What this does do is make Democrats look bad because it goes to show they don't actually care about people. You know, they're kind of sociopaths. They don't care about the shutdown as far as employees losing their paychecks are involved. They just want to stamp their feet and say, no, we're not going to make any deals. But that's exactly what they need to do. And hopefully, the longer this drags on, the more pressure they're going to feel to actually make the deal. To be like, you know what? This can't go on. We're taking heat too. And maybe Trump will get his funding. But like I said, soon enough, this whole shutdown is going to cost more than the wall. So what did Democrats really prove? That they're stubborn, childish, and egotistical? Or that Trump is some madman? Because he's not. He wanted to make the deal. He wanted to compromise. He was willing to give the Democrats something they wanted, and they shut him down at every turn. And they always come back with these insulting deals like, we'll give you $1 billion, or we'll give you a little bit so you can do some repairs, but not build a wall. Absolute garbage. It's complete nonsense. Democrats need to get their crap together and make a deal. But that's merely the obvious. Well, that's all for now, folks. So what do you think about this government shutdown? Has it lasted too long? Has it gone too far? Does it really matter? Let me know what you think. Be sure to share your thoughts. I read every single comment. I'm highly interested in what the people think. This has been Mr. Obvious, and I'll see you all next time.